So glad you're with us, and you know what? We are always delighted and really amazed when we hear about our neighbors and our friends out there who are being recognized for good deeds. These are local heroes who stepped up when no one else would or could.
Yeah, 4 East Valley heroes did just that. An aircraft mechanic, a former lifeguard, and his mom, and a bank teller all honored today by the Mesa Fire Department as heroes in action.
The story of any good Samaritan begins with one key ingredient.
But all of you took time out of your busy days and saw that there was a need for help to get down and help somebody.
Robert Joyner saw a need as he was heading home on the 60 back in May.
And noticed in front of me the van that was just erratically driving back and forth and literally thrashing back and forth.
Robert wasn't sure what was going on, so he called 911 and trailed behind the wayward driver, keeping himself and other drivers out of harm's way.
And finally he ended up crashing the vehicle on the barricade, but then we went up to the vehicle and assisted basically.
Robert discovered the driver was a diabetic who had gone into insulin shock.
He had no clue as far as what his actions were when his blood sugar was that low. He was literally on the verge of just passing out.
Robert says he was able to locate the man's emergency medications and get him stabilized as paramedics arrived. Lisa Ornelas and her 17-year-old son Zach also stepped up when a motorcyclist went down. As a lifeguard, Zach has had his share of CPR training.
What was going on, I don't really think about it because adrenaline was just going, but afterwards it was just scary to think about. 18-year-old
Shelby Slaughter had just started working at the Chase Bank at Signal Butte and Baseline.
I was actually working at the back in the drive-thru.
Jesus Molina, a bank regular, was at the front of the business.
I went into the bank to the ATM machine and I withdrew some money and I was counting it, and that's all I remember.
Jesus had collapsed and was in full cardiac arrest. Lucky for Jesus, Shelby was in that morning.
One of my coworkers actually ran through the branches. Anybody knows CPR? And I quickly reacted, and another customer and I performed life-saving compressions on him.
You see, Shelby had just learned CPR back in May. The two hadn't seen each other since the rescue, so today's awards ceremony also became a special reunion for Shelby and Jesus.
I thank her from the bottom of my heart, and she will always be in my prayers, in my mind, and in my family's mind. We think the world of her.
Actually, he told me that every time his rib aches, he thinks of me. So we get along pretty well, and I'm so thankful that I got an opportunity to meet him.
Oh, a brand new friendship right there. You know what? Believe it or not, Shelby says she went back to work following that incident, and it wasn't until later that her supervisor actually realized her heroic efforts and then gave her the day off.
At least. How about the week off?
I know, but just the fact that she continued to work right after that.
I love it that Mesa puts together all those folks, you know, every now and again, and we go out and we do those stories. It's just fantastic.
So appreciative of their heroes.
You know, we also love profiling people who. We love this when we hear about our neighbors and our friends out there who are being recognized for good deeds.
These are local heroes who stepped up when no one else would or could. 4 East Valley heroes did just that. An aircraft mechanic, a former lifeguard, and his mom, and a bank teller were all honored today by the Mesa Fire Department as heroes in action.
But all of you took time out of your busy days and saw that there was a need for help to get down and help somebody.
Some of the heroes had not seen the people they saved since the incident that brought them together, so today was also a reunion of sorts.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
There are a lot of everyday heroes in the valley, and today the Mesa Fire Department is honoring 5 of them because without those heroes' good deeds, some people would have lost their lives. Diane Ryan has the story.
She was my angel. She saved my life.
Jesus Molina will never forget this face, and he's telling everyone why.
I was at the ATM machine and I fell backwards, fainted, and that's all I remember.
His heart stopped beating. Jesus was suffering from a cardiac arrest. He needed CPR, and Shelby Slaughter was able to help.
The fact that he's living and breathing today because of me, it's a great feeling.
Shelby is one of 5 people from Mesa recognized for stepping up in an emergency. That's what Lisa and Zach Ornelas did last May after a horrific car crash.
We thought it was a car fire at first, and we got up there and saw the gentleman laying there from the accident.
They pulled him away from the flames. Her son Zach started CPR.
I kept all my lifeguard stuff in the back of my car anyways, so just right when we got there, just got everything out right away and then started doing CPR, so yeah, Didn't really think about it, just did it.
Robert Joyner didn't think twice about helping a driver in distress either. He just did it.
You can stand aside or you can kind of step up. And, you know, from the Navy Reserves and the Navy, I'm pretty much taught to step up.
By stepping up, he saved the driver's life, and no one on the road around him was injured. Wife Lisa is not surprised.
That's just his nature to help out others.
All the Good Samaritans agree it's not about the award, it was just the right thing to do. Diane Ryan, Fox 10 News.
Another Good Samaritan who was not able to attend, Steve Chris Caden. He was at the accident scene with Lisa and Zach.
Wow.
Right. That is not funny. No, but.
Well, Good Samaritans who jumped into action and saved lives were recognized for their good deeds. The Mesa Fire Department honoring several people who helped others. That included a banker who gave CPR to a man who suffered a heart attack, a man who kept other drivers away from another driver who had a medical condition on the US 60, and a mom and son actually, who pulled a motorcycle rider away from his bike, which was on fire. 5:33.
Quick thinking Good Samaritans got a special honor today in Mesa. The Mesa Fire Department took time to recognize bank teller Shelby Slaughter. This past August, she noticed a customer was having a heart attack. Shelby jumped into action and began to perform CPR, something that ultimately saved his life.
I just hear one of my coworkers go, "Does anyone know CPR?" So we quickly had to react to that, and I think a word that best describes that is shocking. So you really don't know how to react like that.
Well, react she did, and she was able to keep that man stable until paramedics arrived, and it was a good reminder that you should take the time to learn CPR. You never know when it might save a life.
I recently got recertified with my kids, but I sometimes do wonder, you know, if something like that happened, would I be able to really focus?
Snap in.
And
Yep.
I think you do, given the training. When
and
you
it's the rapid compression one now, right?
Yes, it is.
Staying alive, from the Bee Gees, right? To stay on beat.
They didn't teach us that.
Staying alive.
Did you go to disco CPR class?
I am going to check this out because that's what you're supposed to.
I've heard it.
Okay.
But next time I'll follow you.
I'm researching.
Yes.
Okay.
Think about it.
Gotta stay
Makes
alive.
sense.
Yeah. No, seriously, it's the beats. It's all about the beats.
Hey, we're talking about normal.
Stories of heroism in Mesa today from Good Samaritans recognized for saving lives. The Mesa Fire and Medical Departments handed out plaques to citizens, some of whom risked their own safety to help others in distress. The stories were compelling. One example performed by Shelby Slaughter, who is a teller at a nearby Chase Bank, recently became certified in CPR. Well, Shelby was working last month when Jesus Molina, a customer, went into cardiac arrest.
I think the only way I can describe that experience as shocking, because you really don't have a lot of time to think when someone is laying on the floor in front of you not breathing. You just have to act as fast as you can.
And coming up at 6, we'll have the heartfelt thanks from the man whose life was saved at this Chase Bank by that teller. And coming up on Good
Valley, some Good Samaritans are getting some well-deserved recognition for saving lives. The Mesa Fire and Medical Departments handing out plaques to citizens. Some risked their own safety to help others. Each person awarded has a very compelling story. One included the story of a teller at a Chase Bank. She was working last month when she saw a guy go into cardiac arrest.
I think the only way I can describe that experience as shocking, because you really don't have a lot of time to think when someone is laying on the floor in front of you not breathing. You just have to act as fast as you can.
It is pretty fascinating what the body and mind will do in the case of emergency. Yeah. Well, it was her quick thinking that saved his life. So can you imagine how thankful his family is to her for that?
No doubt about it. All right, up next.